Read and listen to the text The Great Feat of the Soviet Children in the Second World War. Russian history has preserved numerous examples of heroism and sacrifice of the Soviet young fighters who have given their lives to liberate their country from the Nazis' invaders. Unfortunately, we don't know all of the Soviet children who have defended our state. Valya Kodik. Valya Kodik was a young partisan and the youngest hero of the Soviet Union. He painted and pasted the placards with a lot of caricatures of the Nazis. In the autumn of 1941, he carried out a real diversion. He set up an ambush near a road. Valya blew up a lorry, carrying the Nazis with a grenade, and killed several soldiers and the squad commander of the field gendarmerie. He took part in the partisan movement in Ukraine. He derailed trains and blew up warehouses. Unfortunately, he died at the age of 14 in the battle for the city of Izyaslav in 1944. Marakaze and his sister, Ariadna. Their father was a sailor in the Baltic Fleet. He called him Mara in honor of the battleship Mara. After the death of their parents, he and his sister became the young fighters in the partisan unit in Belarus. Mara successfully went to the village with the Nazis to know important information for the partisans many times. He organized dozens of explosions on the railway lines and took part in the battles. In 1944, the partisans were discovered by the Nazis in the village of Koromitskie, Belarus. The Nazis surrounded the boy, hoping to capture the young partisan. Mara shot back at the Nazis. Unfortunately, he ran out of grenades and he blew himself up with the last grenade. He was only 14. Laura Mykinko. In the early summer of 1941, during her summer holidays, this schoolgirl from Leningrad visited her grandmother in a village. At the beginning of the war, she was unable to return home because the village was captured by the Nazis. In the summer of 1943, Lara and her friend joined a partisan unit. She got important information about the number of the Nazi soldiers, their locations of gun places, and took part in the railway line war. In the autumn of 1943, the 14-year-old girl was captured by the Nazis. During the interrogation, she tried to blow herself up with a grenade, but it was not exploded for several reasons. Lara was tortured much time. Later she was shot by the Nazis. Volodya Dubinin. When the war started, he was only 13. The schoolboy joined one of the Kerch partisan groups. Volodya was a messenger and a young partisan of the underground fortress. For 2 months, the Nazis fought against the partisan groups, cementing all of the exits of the fortress. The teen was the smallest. It helped him to get out through the very narrow holes and to be unnoticed by the Nazis. In January of 1942, Kerch was liberated by the Soviet soldiers. The Soviet sappers began to demine this area, and Volodya helped them. Unfortunately, he was killed after stepping on a mine.